Hello, my Facebook friends and family. It's Elena Rodriguez. We are going to have a little discussion tonight. I'm in my office and it's dark. So if you're there, say hi. If you're watching the replay, do a hashtag replay. But if you have questions, comments, thoughts, opinions, any of it along the way during this little talk I'm going to have with you real quick, please use the comment thread to put them in there, okay? I just got home from a wonderful meeting with a dear friend of mine who has done some work with me in the past, and tonight was simply just a meeting to talk about what's going on, what does 2021 look like moving forward, how's life feeling right now. Things are heavy, and my gift is that I am able to help discover your gift simply by conversation, simply by talking with each other, because that's what God has blessed me with. I am able to do that. I look for subtleties. I know what questions to ask. I'm able to tell if your voice is fluctuating differently, if your energy shifts. I can feel all of that. And then God actually guides me to the next questions to ask. And before you know it, it's like, aha, there it is. That's the thing. Now go do something with it. That's what you're able to share with the world. But you also have heard me talking lately about being cheated on and the damage that betrayal like that can do to you. And it doesn't matter whether you're a guy or a girl here, okay? Being cheated on damages you. So what happens if your gift, if that thing that you're supposed to be able to share with the world to help others is buried underneath all of that damage? Like, what do you do? Because you don't feel good. You're not living in your purpose. You're living in a heaviness that feels meaningless and confusing, and you feel like you have no direction and that you need motivation behind anything worth doing. Like, all of this stuff compounds on each other. And as a life coach, these are the things I talk about. Okay, life is messy, and it's okay that life is messy. Like, it's meant to be messy. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. That's how we discover things we're good at and things that we're not good at. Like, life is meant to be messy, but it doesn't need to be so painful that it keeps you from living and enjoying it. Okay? So, when I talk about your gifts and I talk about living your dream, that looks different for everyone. It's not about owning a business all the time. It's not about going all the time. Dream can simply mean living at peace and alignment within your spirit, doing whatever it is God created you to do. But I guarantee you, once you're there, the work that you are doing, whatever it looks like, is helping someone else. That's how God designed us, to share the best of us with each other, because we all have things that will help someone else. But if you're damaged and you're stuck under the repetitive beating down on yourself because of betrayal, those gifts never have the opportunity to surface and shine. And so Monday night, I was on a show, and I kind of talked about my story a little bit, and I talked about, discovering my husband's 5-year affair after he passed away. And I'm not ashamed to talk about this, okay? I will never quit talking about it because I went through it for a reason. And tonight when I was having dinner with my friend, she actually asked me, she's like, why do you think that you needed to discover this 9 months after he passed? Why did it come out then? And I know why. because it was God's doing. I needed to discover this, and he laid it down gently. He let me discover it 9 months after. Because if I'd have found out right away, that would have been a huge damage, a huge moment of impact, not only for me, but for my kids. So at 9 months later, to discover this, it's serving a different purpose. Okay, it was by accident that I thought I found it. It wasn't by accident. God showed it to me. And for a minute, I held guilt. I held fear. And I realized this is going to eat me alive. This is going to poison me from the inside out. And that is not what I'm here for. I am here to live, and I am here to thrive, and I am here to have joy, and I can help people. But if I kept that secret inside, thinking it was my fault, or continuously beating myself up, thinking, what did I do wrong? It would be poisoning me from inside. And that's not what God wants for us. We're all human. We all make mistakes. We've all hurt people. We've all done things that we wish we could undo. Like, that's who we are as people. It's what we do after those moments that sets us apart. We can either take that damage, we can take that pain, we can take that hurt, we can take that betrayal, and we can turn it into a way to serve someone else forward. Or we can continue being angry at somebody for what? You can't change it. Or you can keep replaying in your mind what's wrong with me. Why? You can't change it. So I chose to talk about it. I was not going to let it have power over me. And I want him to rest in peace. And I've also connected back with his first wife so that we could talk about some things. Like, open up the conversation. Don't hide from this stuff because it's going to follow you anywhere. Anywhere you go, you're taking it with you. So learn how to carry it appropriately so that you can help someone with it instead of carrying it and having it be this heavy, painful thing that is stopping your progress. So when I got to talking about that tonight, I said, I know that God showed it to me at the time that he did because I was stronger. And it actually answered some questions that were hanging in my head. It connected so many dots. So that's the other thing about being cheated on. Don't act like you're so surprised. When you look back, you can connect the dots. There were little things that told you things were going on. You just chose to see them or not. You just chose to believe them or not. Now, I can say when I found out, I was shocked. Okay? I was like, surprised. But then the more I thought about it, I thought, am I really? Is this really shocking? Or is it just the fact that I didn't believe anybody could do that to me? But why? Every guy I've dated has cheated on me. So what did that tell me? That there was something within me that was looking at people not in a good way that served me. So there was discovery I had to do about myself in order to choose different people forward, or I would walk into the same scenarios again and again. And that's the thing. If you don't look at it, look at your pain, look at your experience, look at the lesson, but then learn from it, grow from it, and make changes necessary in order to live happier forward. So when she asked me, why do you think that you discovered this? Or what did it show you? And then she said, because you looked so happy. Like every time you talked about him, you looked so happy. And I said, because I did love him. Yes, he was a narcissistic person. He would ignore me for days on end. I was never good enough. But it never changed me as a person to try to love him more. I tried to build him up. I tried to boost his ego. I tried to do all these things. But when someone is unhappy, They're unhappy within themselves, and you can't change that in anyone. So learning all of this, when she asked me, like, why do you think that you found out after all this time? It's so that I can help you forward. That's the only reason. God knew I was strong enough. God needed me to connect some dots, and God needed me to say, here's how I can help you. Why? Because there's so many of you living each day stuck in that pain. You're stuck in the mistake. You're stuck in the guilt, whether you're the one that did the cheating or you're the one that was cheated on. And what happens when you're stuck in those places is you're not able to surface your gift. You're not able to share the power that you have that can actually benefit the world. And yeah, that might sound cheesy to you. You might think like my world is like 5 people in my tiny city. That's okay. But it's a ripple effect. If you start with you and you impact one person, chances are that one person will impact another person. And chances are then that person will impact another person. And who knows how far that ripple is going to go. So why not start with one person? Start with yourself. Forgive yourself. You cannot cause someone to cheat on you. I don't care what you're told. I don't care what kind of blame is placed on you. Every single person is responsible for their choices and their actions, period. Just like no one else can make you happy. No one can make you happy. Don't put that pressure on someone else. That's selfish. Learn how to be happy within yourself. And then you can share that happiness with someone. That's so much better than making somebody responsible for your happiness. They will fail because you can't do it. That's not possible. So when we were sitting there having dinner tonight, it never fails. This always happens. And that's why I get so excited when I have a chance to talk with people one-on-one. I know the questions to ask to surface that gift. That is my gift. I have my little voice that I know where it's coming from. It tells me what questions to ask. And before you know it, we're having a conversation about that thing that person's doing next, because that's the thing. That's the thing that they've been missing. That's that tug in their gut that says there's more, but I don't know what it is. So just a simple conversation, and it's like, boom, there it is. But the reason that so many people are not living their gift, they're not living their talent, they're not sharing their dream, is because chances are you've been cheated on. Because anymore nowadays, you look around and all those dots are connected. It's affected almost everyone in some capacity, whether you personally or someone that you love, someone that's close to you, could be a sibling. Okay, it's affected almost everyone in some way. And so much happens in that moment of cheating and betrayal that goes beyond sex. It's not the physical act. It's that someone belittles you and thinks so little of you. They even think that you're not strong enough to handle truth. And that's what's upsetting to people, is you would rather hurt me with a lie instead of hurt me with the truth. If people could just be honest and say the hard things, there's more respect and integrity in that moment, and chances are the relationship will remain intact. It might not be as close, but it will end on a good note because there is respect there. The cheating isn't about the act. It's that you thought so little of somebody that you had to hide. And the thing is it's usually the person doing the cheating that thinks so little of themselves. They're afraid. Cheaters are cowards. And that's all it boils down to. You think that you're one-upping because you got this over here and you got this over here. You're a coward because you can't be honest and you can't have the difficult conversation. But what happens in those moments is self-esteem is crushed. Trust is now a forever issue. It will forever be an issue to the person that was hurt. Forever. And I don't care who it is that you meet. So when people say, clean up your stuff before you get in another relationship so you don't bring that stuff in, that is true. But there's going to always be that little piece behind that says, my trust was damaged. At one point, my full trust wasn't enough and it was still damaged. So before you go out there and you do all these things, think about really what you're doing. It's not about the moment of satisfaction. You're damaging lives and you're crushing dreams. Dreams that God has placed in people. Dreams that are meant to be awoken so that we can share them with the world. By you being so selfish and taking that act upon yourself and placing blame that this is why it happened because you chose to make it happen. There's no other reason. None. There's absolutely no excuse for someone to make the choice to betray someone they're in a relationship with. There's no excuse. Leave the relationship. Divorce if you're not happy. Have the discussion and come to the agreement that you're going to sleep with other people. But there is no reason to cheat. Nobody makes you. Nobody does something that causes you. It's your choice. And when you choose to do that, you are hurting people. You're hurting families. And that is selfish. So why did God have me discover my deceased husband's affair? So that I could do something good with it. So that I could pray for the woman that he was with for 5 years, who suffered a loss as well, but she was a secret. Whose shoulders could she cry on? I actually prayed for her, and my heart hurt for her. Because that's sad. Why? Because being so selfish and bringing other lives into it, my heart hurt for her. It really did. I prayed for her that I hope she has found her peace and has been able to forgive him. I talked to his first wife. We had to do forgiving. You know, it's talk about the stuff, but then heal so that you can move on and so you can live your dream. So when I was on that show Monday night, one of the questions that came up was, how do you start rebuilding your self-esteem? Like, how do you even begin to pick yourself up after somebody can hurt you that bad? And the way that I look at it is just like somebody can't make you happy, somebody can't make you live in the pain. That's a choice as well. So when I said I could choose to beat myself up and ask myself why and what could I have done different and why wasn't I good enough, that's a choice also. And in that moment, I had to remind myself that I didn't make those decisions. He did. It wasn't my fault. So as you begin to rebuild your self-esteem, you begin to honor your strength. And when you're able to honor your strength, you're able to see yourself a little bit closer through the eyes that God sees you. And when you're able to start seeing yourself a little bit clearer as the way that God sees you, then you're able to start seeing your purpose. Then you're able to start paying attention to the ideas that he's giving you. Then you're able to open yourself up to that tug in your gut that tells you there is more. And it's a process. Yeah, it has to rebuild confidence. You have to feel worthy again. When somebody can treat you like a worn out rug and just walk all over you, you have to feel worthy again. You have to learn that you are capable and lovable. Like, that's a hard thing. When somebody that you love treats you like shit, you have to go through a process to relearn that you are lovable, that not everybody is going to be that way. So there's so much compounded in just this one topic. And I brought it up today, and I sent an email today. And this really stemmed from being on that show Monday night when one of the ladies that they were interviewing me said, how do you begin to rebuild that self-esteem? Because they're like, you look so happy. I'm like, I am happy. But it's a choice. And I'm choosing to not live in the pain that he caused me. Because that's a choice. And the moment that we realize that we're responsible for ourselves in every single thing, no one makes you anything. It's you. And so after hearing her question and hearing from the ladies, I thought, as much as I talk about building dreams and as much as I've talked about narcissistic relationships, I've never really focused on how do you rebuild that self-esteem? How do you feel worthy again? How do you get that confidence to actually fall in love with yourself? How are you capable of seeing yourself more beautiful than ever before? And these are things I've done. I feel more beautiful today than I have ever in my life. And I'm like 30 pounds heavier than I was, I don't know, a year or two ago. And it's not about the stuff on the outside, but because there's so much emphasis placed on the outside, people are dying inside. And that's what I want to help with. You know, I talk about wanting to help everybody every day about different things because I'm equipped. That's what God gifted me with. That's what I'm able to do. As a life coach, I help you in your life, period. Like whatever life brings you. That's what I've been prepared for my whole life. And now it's all here. And when that lady asked me that question Monday night, I could see it in her. I could hear it in her voice. And all I saw was this powerful, beautiful woman. Beautiful, like magnificent, beautiful. But I could see it in her. She didn't love herself. She hasn't forgiven herself. She's still blaming herself. She's still thinking something's wrong with her. She's still thinking she did something that caused this pain. And that is sick that this is the type of information that is being shared out there. People are blaming people they're with for them cheating. It don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Take responsibility. Stop being a coward and own the fact that you made a choice. It was a messed up choice, and you're choosing to hurt so many people by being selfish. And that's what it boils down to. So if you have a sex addiction, get help. If you're not happy in your marriage, get a divorce. If you want to have sex with other people, get out of the relationship. Be honest, be mature, and quit hurting other people. Because when you hurt other people, you're actually killing dreams within those individuals, dreams that God has placed. And that's my message. I'm very passionate about this because I believe in dreams and I believe in people living their purpose, the purpose that God gave them. And by people walking around doing all these selfish things, damaging people, you're messing with God's plan. And that's not cool. That's not a good thing. That's why this world is messed up. So I'm helping people and I want to talk about it. And this is a conversation that I'm more passionate about than I realized. And it wasn't until this week, that question Monday, and then again the question tonight of why do you think that you found out about his affair? And it hit me because God needed me to. Because God needs me to use my voice. God needs me to use my strength. And God needs me to call some people out on their bullshit. Quit blaming other people for the choices that you're making that are hurting other people. You're not happy, get out. If you want more sex, find a different partner. Don't beat people down just because you want different. Then go get different. But honor the people for who they are and quit trying to change people. How about you change yourself? Start there. So, I don't know. I'm just sharing. I'm very passionate. I'll probably be talking about this topic on my Latin show tomorrow, Fuego 2.0, because this has just opened up a door that I'm extremely passionate about. It touches my heart. But because I believe in helping people build their dreams and live their happiness and their joy, and I realize how much happiness and joy has been crumbled by the irresponsible and immature choices of people in relationships or not in relationships, but throwing the word love around, that's God's word. We don't play with love. We are here to love each other, and love does not hurt. Love does not lie. And so if that's what you're doing in your relationship, or that's how you're hurting people, ask yourself why. What's going on with you? What do you need to fix? Because it's nobody else's fault. And for those people that are stuck in that place of not knowing how to build their self-esteem back up, of still beating themselves up and not knowing how to forgive themselves. You know what? You don't need to forgive yourself. That's why you're struggling. You don't need to forgive yourself for something someone else chose to do. You didn't cause it. And it's time to live your dream. It's time to realize you are worthy. And the way to come into that place is to let God love you. Just let God love you. He will help you. He will guide your next steps. He will reveal your dream. He will allow it to happen. But when you feel the lowest and you feel that you don't know how to start picking up those pieces, or you don't even know what is next, God does. And start there. What did I say earlier in the week? That's what I'm for. I'm here to simply bring you back to Him. And I don't know what that looks like. You guys know I put stuff out all the time. I'm going this direction, that direction, helping these people, helping that people. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just doing it. But ultimately, it's to bring you back to Him. And so that's my topic for tonight. Cheating. Don't do it. Cheating is not someone else's fault. It's your fault if you're choosing to do that. And it's selfish. And it's crushing dreams. And it's making people think that there's something wrong with them. There's not. It's your choice. So if you want to talk about this, if any of this resonated with you, please reach out to me. I don't know how. I'm not all about landing pages and click here. And it's just get a hold of me. Just leave a comment or just message me. It's not that big a deal. It doesn't have to be that complex. I just want to help. That's all. So if you've been hurt, if you're suffering and struggling with this, let God love you. Start there. You're worthy. All right, guys. Have a good night.